Welcome to Subramani. I have been talking about a market fall. Now I'm going to talk to you about a market moving sideways. Now, what has happened is we have been in a bull run. There is no doubt about that. And a bull run is largely a place where the PE expansion is what leads to the market going up and not the earning per share increase. So have we seen an EPS increase? Yes, maybe because of the pandemic, but not enough to justify the price rise. Now having you can take this example from running. If you've had a longish run, maybe you've done a 20-kilometer run at a reasonable speed, then you will need to rest for some time. So the market will take rest for some time. When it will fluctuate, yes, but it will largely move sideways, which means it will start at say 62,000 and maybe after a year or 18 months it will still be at 62,000. It may have seen some ups and downs, it may have seen 59, it may have seen 63, right? So those kind of things will happen, but largely the destination would have been nowhere. So this is what we call a sideways market. How prepared are we for a sideways market? Because sideways market is the best thing that can happen to the end of a bull market. The worst thing to happen, of course, is the market crashing. So the three things can happen. Market can continue to be on a bull run, which is very difficult because people's expectations have gone through the roof. Market can come down, market can crash for whatever reasons, global reasons, national reasons, election time 2024. So again this government will go into doing nothing from 2023 end or 2023 mid, and we are almost there, right? So another 1.5 years. So impact of all that will be, maybe the economy will do nothing, maybe the earnings won't increase. So the market will be like this, and market could just be wavy, but it will actually do nothing over a 18-month period. Now, how does one prepare for such eventualities? Well, this is what normally happens at the end of a bull run, but what none of us ever anticipated was so much of note printing by the Fed. When I say Fed, I mean all the Japanese, the European, the American, of course, and the Indian Reserve banks. All of them pumping so much money into the economy that no expert or anybody could have anticipated such a long bull run in the debt markets. When I say bull run in the debt markets, you're talking of 1980, the interest rates in the US were 18, now it is 1.8. So right, you're talking of a 40-year bull run. Now when there is so much money being pumped into the market, it is fairly obvious that the market will behave very differently from what anybody thought. None of us thought that following the 2008 financial crisis there will be so much of money pumping, and today all the central banks think that all they have to do is pump money and all problems are solved. I'm not getting into right wrong, but that is bound to have had an impact on the market going up so much, and hence we missed the sideways market. But we will get it soon. People will get disillusioned with this kind of pricing. We just saw that MRF at an 80,000 price gives you 3 rupees as dividend. That's fine. Ultimately people buy shares for dividend and for growth. So when there is almost zero dividend, everything has to be growth, right? So which means if I'm expecting a 24% return in MRF, I expect the price to be 1,60,000 in 2024 because I'm getting almost nothing in terms of dividend. So if that expectation is not met, there could be selling pressure. Right, that's what all this put together leads to a middling market, which is the sideways market or a falling market. People will get disillusioned. Look at Tesla pricing. The market cap of Tesla is more than the market cap of all the automobile manufacturers of US, Europe, and Japan. Obviously, something is wrong. Something has to give, right? So same thing happens even in India. You have startups. I mean, Zoom is a great startup. Look at the market cap of Zoom. It's huge, right? Now, can there be a competitor born for Zoom? Answer is yes. Now Zoom became so popular that it is like it's become like the word for searching is Google. So people say, oh, let's Zoom, or you could be using Microsoft Teams, but people still call it a Zoom meeting, right? It's become common noun kind of stuff. But is the valuation justified? We will never know. We will know only in retrospect. After a few years, we will say, oh my God, it was such a great buy, or we'll say, imagine if I put money, you would have lost the whole thing. So we do not know how the future is going to be, and therefore there's a greater challenge. So how do you prepare for a sideways market, right? That's what the title says. And so what all should one do? I mean, one has to copy from India's best value investors. I'm not naming them, or I don't want to get into any controversy naming fund managers. So first, be an active value investor. When you buy for value, normally the thing is you hold on for till kingdoms come, right? So you hold on for a few decades or maybe intergenerational. That may not be true. You may have to be little more active even in your value investing portfolio. We all look for the value investor will be able to get his value only after in the next bull run. We do not know when the next bull run is going to happen. So that is one thing which is you got to be scary about. You may have to increase your margin of safety simply because if you go by the immediate past valuation, then everything can be justified, right? If you can justify a Tesla, if you can justify in the Indian context a Paytm, then you will be able to justify any pricing. Whereas in the market which is sideways or going down, then the market will keep questioning everything. So unless you can show EPS, the market will not give you a great PE. So that is going to happen. We run the risk of saying, oh my God, this share has fallen from heaven to here, so it can't be too bad, right? The theory of falling knives. You have a share which is a fair price of 300, 400. It goes to 800. From 800 it goes to 1200. From 1200 it falls to 900. Your immediate reaction is, oh my God, how much has it fallen? Don't do that. Look at the journey from where it started. So then compare the EPS, compare the PE. So if all the growth has come because of a PE expansion, be ready for the fall, because when the fall happens, the PE will disappear. Shares which were available at a much higher PE will be available at 1/3 the PE. This would also be the time when all the earning growth will be lost to a PE contraction, right? So if you have a share which is quoting, let's say it's a 10 rupee EPS and a 10 rupee PE, the 10 rupee EPS has not changed, but the PE has become 20, 30. So with 30, it is going to be a 300 rupee share. When you see it falling from 300 to 250, it's not a good buy unless this is moving, unless the earning is moving. If the earning is moving, some kind of a respect will be there for the PE. Now here what happens if 10 becomes 20 and the PE comes down to 15, your price is still at 300. The market will do that. Market gives you a PE anticipating an increase in EPS. But if the increase in EPS does not happen soon enough, the PE disappears. So this share which had a fair price of price of 100 went from 100 to 200. You justified saying future growth is great, EPS is going to increase, went to 300. But the EPS didn't change. EPS remained at 10. So suddenly the PE will come down from 30 to 20 to 10 or maybe even lower to 7. And then you will say, oh my God, how did the price fall below 100? Because 100 was a great starting point, but it doesn't mean it can't fall below that. So at that stage, if the EPS does not go from 10 to 12, you will not be able to arrest this fall. Now what happened, this 10 into 30 was 300. Now if 10 became 15 but the PE became 20, it would still be at 300. This is what is called all the gains and which the company makes in terms of earnings is lost in terms of PE. This has happened, we've seen it happen to Wipro, we've seen it happen to ITC, it happens to all big companies also. It's not that it happens only to small companies, it could happen to certain sectors, it may not happen to everybody, it could happen to certain parts of the pharma sector and not to other pharma sector companies, simply because pharma companies are very different. Some do research and sell the product. Some sell in the domestic market, some sell in the US market. If you do not know the difference, you will not be able to appreciate the change in EPS and the change in PE. Both would happen. The EPS could fall and the PE could fall dramatically, which means you'll see the price crash. So all these things you need to be prepared for. Another important thing which we have said many times, and I'm not the only one saying it, don't try to time the market. It is almost impossible. If you have bought a share at 800 rupees and you thought it's a good sell at 1200 and you see it going to 1200, liquidate a portion of it at least. Keep a stop loss of 1200 and say, okay, I'll sell partially, maybe 20%, 25% at 1200. The remaining at 1300, 1400 and 1500, because you cannot control the PE. You are, as an analyst, only controlling the EPS, or rather predicting the EPS, monitoring the EPS on a quarter to quarter basis. You're finding no surprises, or you're finding very good surprises on the way up. All that can happen, but you cannot control the PE. So it's a great time to be selling off, because you have reached your goal, not because the market is high. But also have a look, when the PE is high, you know there is, in the glass of beer that you have, there is more froth than beer. So be careful about that. Don't be afraid of unpopular asset classes. Today, very unpopular asset class is, of course, cash and gold. Imagine telling a young boy or girl that, look, you got a good salary, so accumulate some money in your savings bank account. Just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. That money has to be moved into a liquid fund at least, or somewhere, so that it is out of that person's eye. Because if it is in the eye, then there is some thing you want to do. You want to buy a crypto, you want to buy something. So I am not talking about crypto because I don't know enough about crypto. I have not invested in crypto. But if you think the most unpopular asset class today is cash and gold, that may be the best things to buy, more as a hedge than as anything else. So don't be afraid of holding cash for a long period of time. I can also tell you one thing which I have done, and I will do a separate video on that. I have invested abroad, because investing in India is good fun. You get good companies, but you can always invest in Japan. You can invest in Asia ex Japan. You can invest in Europe. You can invest in US. I think I started this journey 6-7 years ago when I started investing in one US fund. Now I have invested in more US funds, value funds. I'm in the Japan fund, right? So I have done that, and it's not some as if I've got some dramatic results, but I've got good results, and I'm happy that my money is a little diversified, right? I will do a full article on that, a full video on that. So let me stop this. When there is sideways market, these are the steps that you have to take. These same steps could be very, very useful even when the market falls. But when market falls, what you should do is some video which I have already done earlier. Thank you. Thank you very much.